is essential for learning trading. If you don't understand liquidity and don't understand liquidity draws, you will not succeed in trading. There's a reason why top investors and top financial institutions alike use liquidity to enter trades. So that's why in this video I'm going to teach you the basics of liquidity, liquidity draws, liquidity sweeps, how to spot them, and above all, how to use them. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, one thing I want to say before we get started is simply that liquidity and liquidity draws, liquidity sweep is probably the most important confluence you need to know for trading. So pay attention to this video, go look at the markets after this, do further research, and learn more about liquidity sweeps, liquidity draws, because they're basically what usually starts or ends a trade. So let's get started with the definitions. The definitions are important to know. It's important to know why liquidity sweeps happen, why liquidity draws happen. But also it's not everything. You have to understand market movement and what liquidity sweeps are significant and which ones aren't. So a liquidity sweep is a market phenomenon where large institutional investors, this is banks, hedge funds, people with a lot of capital, institutions with a lot of capital that can influence the market and cause a lot of buy side or sell side liquidity. So what happens in a liquidity sweep is when their orders are fulfilled. So their liquidity exits the market or enters the market. So some people might have a lying take profit at where their liquidity draw is and they're exit out of the market, while some people might want to buy in when the liquidity sweep happens. So understanding that is super crucial, and understanding why it happens is very important. Basic definition, you don't need to know this one, but it's nice to know what liquidity is. So liquidity in trading basically just refers to how easy an asset can be bought or sold in the market without significantly affecting its price. Pretty simple, not necessarily that important. Liquidity sweep dumbed down. So if you were confused with that, it's basically just where investors, banks, hedge funds, investors with a lot of capital and money and ability to move the market above all, have orders fulfilled, leading to low resistance moves upwards or downwards, typically leading to a reversal. So as I said earlier with this, basically just market is having money enter it and leave it, because the people with a lot of capital have their take profits down there, their stop losses down there, and for that reason there's a lot of capital just exiting and entering from the market. So let's go look at some examples to get this started. The daily is not the best for looking for liquidity sweeps. If you're trying to map some out, it's good. But if you're trying to look for what happens after a liquidity sweep and during a liquidity sweep, let's go down to the 15-minute because that is where all the action happens. So there was a couple that happened today, actually. I wanted to place a trade on my on paper, but I was not able to because the market just moved completely different than I thought. Like, it moved up, I think, due to the ISM news, but just mad about it. I was going to do my eval today, actually, but I didn't do that either because the price action was just choppy today. It was confusing. As you can see right here, liquidity draw right here, boom, swept. Market moves even higher because it swept. Liquidity swept again right here, moves even higher. And now it's choppy because it's like, oh, we kind of want to go up, but we don't want to necessarily, boost up like we did with the other two. And then right here, it's sort of choppy. They're unsure if they want to go up or down. So liquidity draws are basically just these wicks right here, as you can see. And a liquidity sweep is when it hits this draw and then bounces up or bounces down and continues or discontinues a trend. So the reason why liquidity draws and liquidity sweeps are used as retracement tools is simply that once that zone is hit, that zone of significant orders being fulfilled, take profits being hit, the market is unsure if it wants to keep on going up or down. So they use that time as a retracement tool. They see, okay, should we go down a little bit? Should we go up again more? If you go down to the 5-minute or the 1-minute after a liquidity sweep, it usually looks like this. It's like going up and down rapidly. There's uncertainty in the direction it wants to go. And once that direction is made, sometimes it's very fast. Sometimes it's up and then boom, just like falls all the way. but usually it's like confusing, and then it can go up or then it can go down. So that's a good time to start looking to enter a trade, because at that point you're at the beginning of a potential trend or a potential continuation upwards. So liquidity draws right here. Liquidity is swept, continues going. Let's look at some examples though where liquidity is swept, and because of that the trend just cancels entirely. Here's a good spot right here. So as we can see, there's a liquidity draw right here. Liquidity is hit right here. It does not hit this draw, and it just plummets down. Market retraces and falls. Liquidity is, so there's an uptrend right here. As we can see, it goes up, boom, 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 boom. Liquidity draw, falls. Look for some more liquidity sweep examples. Some good ones that are obvious for you guys. Let's see. Okay. Here's one right here. So there's a, I think this is actually an old one that was already hit. Am I tripping? Yeah, I'm tripping, never mind. But so as we can see right here, wait, where'd it go to? Okay, as we can see right here, liquidity is swept from this right here, and there's a continuation of the trend upwards. Let's look for some more. Liquidity sweep is happened right here. As you can see, liquidity is swept. Market goes down, up a little bit, and then down some more after it sweeps this one. So liquidity sweeps are basically just used for retracements. This is a good one right here. Really good one right here. So this is a significant liquidity draw right here. Goes down and goes up more. So it can be used as continuation, reversal, retracement, all of the above. It's very significant to trading. This is a really important zone right here. So liquidity is swept up here. It's trying to break these highs right here, but fails. And for that reason, as you can see, it tries multiple times. There's one draw right here, failed. One draw right here, failed. One draw right here, hits this liquidity, but then just plummets all the way down. It was aiming for this one for a potential continuation, but it fails to do it, showing a lot of sell side pressure. And because of that, just absolute tumble down. Super important for trading, super important. You need to know liquidity sweeps. So trading views just messing me up, but this right here, liquidity swept right here, goes down, just plummets. And another example right here, liquidity is swept right here. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Liquidity is swept right here. It's trying to challenge that fair value gap, the 15-minute fair value gap, but fails. And for that reason, this draw is swept downwards. So fair value gaps, again, can cause liquidity sweeps. They're very important for challenging a trend. You know, trend is super important for this. I think they were testing all-time highs here. They fell down. That's not really significant. But right here, this liquidity, they're trying to go higher again. It's swept and just plummets. Let's see. This is any significance. Yep. So as we can see right here, tries to go, it goes down a little bit because of that, goes back up, and continuation happens until it goes up here and they say, we don't want to go higher anymore, it just falls. Sometimes that happens. Right here, here's another significant liquidity sweep zone. It's trying to sweep this order block right here, or sorry, no, this fair value gap right here. Fails to get past it, falls down, and then inverses it right here. Again, these are just super important for trading. You know, here's another one. It mapped itself out actually. But liquidity swept up here, boom. Liquidity based off this past history is swept, but then goes higher. As you can see, fair value gap supporting it. Like, these all just tie in together, okay? It's super important for the trend. It's super important for retracement. Knowing how liquidity sweeps, liquidity draws work are very important. Let's look for some more examples. Right here, this is a clear-cut one, I think. Liquidity pushes a little bit higher than the past history, but then just gets swept and absolutely just falls down to the ground. And this, guys, is like, so 26, this is from like the last week of trading. I've pointed out so many examples. There's more that I probably skimmed over. Like definitely more that I skimmed over. So liquidity sweeps happen all the time. You know, order blocks, equilibrium can be a little bit harder to find, but like liquidity sweeps are pretty obvious. You can see them when they're forming. Today I saw a couple take place, but it was against my bias, so I didn't place a trade. And I kind of did get screwed based off of that. But they're very easy to spot. I mean, once you know liquidity sweeps, you know liquidity sweeps. Like, you don't struggle with it once you understand how it works. I think that's it for today. If you guys have any more questions and want me to make a part 2, let me know. But I think I went over everything pretty well. So tomorrow... I'll catch you guys tomorrow for equilibrium. Have a good day.